Hi, writers. So happy to be with you today, as always. Welcome back. And if it's your first time joining the weekly videos, welcome to the series. I am so happy to be here and I am ready to dig right in. So, depending on when you're watching this may or may not be the case, but in Chicago right now, the light has just started to change, and those first sort of very nuanced sensory cues that it is approaching fall are happening. I always see it first in the light, and then there's sort of the smell and the just feeling of the churn and the turn. And I love this time. Those of you that know me well know that I love the fall. I love this back to school sort of energy. I get like excited, but in a calm way. There's a sense of focus and prowess and productivity that I feel is available, and creative genius and breakthrough. So that is the energy in which we're going to meet today and kick off this next group of weekly videos. So back to school, whatever age we are, whatever kind of lifestyle we have, is it's a fun energy for me, and if it is for you too, I invite you to join me in letting it be a galvanizing energy, letting it be momentum to go into another great month of writing, of creativity, inspiration, passion, and success. So what we're going to do today is just very simply a guided, if you have something to write with, or you can go back to the video later and do this exercise. I'm just going to guide us through a very short exercise on our vision for the next quarter of the year, between now and the end of the year. If you're watching this at a different time of year, think of it in a 3-ish month block. And we're going to just tap into what you really want, what your inner creative spark is hungry for, is calling forth, what you're going to feel so good about accomplishing between now and the end of the year in these next few months. So just take a couple deep breaths, some shoulder rolls, wiggle around a little bit, get yourself centered, and let go of, if you can, to the best of our ability, that voice that's sort of, oh, this or this isn't realistic, or you'll oh, you have all these ideas, but you don't follow through, or, I don't have time for that. Like, let's just for now let go of that censor, that gremlin, that inner critic, whose job it is to get in the way of our brilliance and our genius. Because I absolutely believe that if you're here, you're taking the time, you're watching it, you have what it takes to do this, to become the writer you want to be, to share your work with the world in the way that you would like to do that. So that's the agreement that we are in when we're together, and that I hold for you. So if you want to close your eyes and just breathe for a few minutes, again, letting go of the small self, the fearful self, the critter brain that just wants safety and security and not awesomeness and breakthrough and creativity and change. And we're tapping into that creative genius part of ourselves now. So just think about, and just pause this video to have as much time as you'd like with these questions. What would you love to have achieved by the end of this year? Especially in terms of your writing, or if you're doing other types of work, what would thrill you? Like, wow, I did it. I finished a draft. I submitted my story. I queried an agent. I wrote 1,000 words a day. I wrote for 15 minutes a day. Whatever it is, what would you feel amazing about? If you could wave that magic wand, what would happen? And just take a moment to let yourself write down whatever that is that comes to you. Okay, beautiful. So again, pause, take all the time you need, right? And now let's think about what would be, in the perfect world, what would be the support that you would have? So it's like, oh, I would have a great class with awesome people, and I would, just be accountable and have deliverables. Or I would have a writing buddy and we would check in every week, or I would form a writing group or join one, or I would have a mentor or a coach and work with them in this way, or I would mark down on a calendar, here are the days I'm going to write, and I would color them all in, and I would follow through it. What do you imagine would be in a perfect world? Again, magic wand, what would you do? And then take some time there. And then the next question is, what would fill your well? Like, what would be the thing, this is a Julia Cameron term from The Artist's Way, like, what would nourish and feed you? So it's a little bit different than what support we'd need sometimes. Sometimes those are the same thing. But sometimes I know for me, if I'm not reading enough of the kind of writing I want to do, then my well is a little dry. And I suddenly just check in with myself. It's like, oh, am I reading the kind of literary short story fiction that I love, or magical realism, or whatever it is that I'm writing at that time? Am I I find it inspiring to go to museums and see visual art, sculptures, painting, mixed media. Even though that's not the art I'm doing, it inspires me to see people's creativity. Maybe for you it's the opera, it's going online and looking at the images from the Louvre, it's having a lunch date with a friend in a beautiful restaurant where just the environment and the interior design is particularly stimulating, watching a documentary. So what do you imagine the you that has followed through and achieved this work, published this work, really shown up for your vision, what nourishes you? What's going to nourish you this fall? Yeah, great. And what is the single, take time, again, pause this video, what is the single most important quality that you think you need in the next few months that would, if you imagine your future self looking back and saying, this is how I did it. This is how I got this piece published, or I finished this draft, or I met with an agent. What was the quality? Is it perseverance, courage? It might be discipline. It might be play, like you let it be fun and you loosen up. It might be self-care. It might be mentorship. What is that quality for you? Okay, great. And then just for fun, because this is really a bit of a tangential question, but I feel like it's part of that back to school thing for me. What are 5 books or stories or poems or authors that you want to read this fall? Let's make our fall reading list. And I'd love to hear your comments if you want to email me or jump on the Facebook group, in the Publish 100 group. Would love to have everyone share their fall reading list, because it's so fun to see what other people are reading, what inspires them. Then we share those ideas. We might, oh, I want to read that too, or that would be great. So please feel free to even just post like a photo of you with your stack of books that you're going to read, although a lot of us are on e-readers now, so maybe just write the titles. So what are you going to read this fall that's going to stimulate and provoke and fuel and inspire you? A little bit like filling the well, but in this very specific way. Take some time with that. I know I need to do a little research before I decide. And then finally, if we go back to that goal at the beginning, what you're going to feel amazing about having achieved at the end of this season, what would you need to believe is true about yourself, others, or the world in order to achieve this goal or these goals? It's kind of a weird question, and it's phrased from people that have studied neuroscience in this particular way, so you can just play along if you're open to it. What would need to be true? So if my goal is to have a short story published in a wonderful literary journal and write really quality, amazing, like 3 new pieces. So say, 1 piece published somewhere great and 3 new pieces of fiction by the end of the year. What do I need to believe about myself, others, and the world? And I might need to believe that I've got what it takes, that I am talented. I may need to believe that editors and people at literary magazines want the kind of writing I'm doing. I might need to believe that I can trust myself, that I'm a person I can trust to follow through and go big and give it everything that I've got, go to any lengths. So just see what would have to be true for you to achieve your goal. That you're capable, that you're worthy, that you're a finisher. And even if that's never been true for you in your life, if the thing that you came up with in this list, and again, pause and take some time. Sometimes I need to really journal a little bit before I get to that. Even if you have never in your life had an experience where that's been true for you before, my invitation for you for this month is to just once a day, when you get up, get in the shower, look in the mirror, brush your teeth, whatever it is, on your way in the car, you just form that thing that needs to be true, that would need to be true for you to achieve this goal, and just put it in an I am statement. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to think it's real. You can think it's the most silly waste of time in the world, but just do it for 30 days. Do it for 30 days and tell yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I do have what it takes, I'm talented, I finish things. Editors, publishers, agents want the writing that I do. Readers are hungry for the writing that I write. I can do this. I'll see you next week.